DAX. So good morning, everyone. So I would like to talk about today for the agenda is DAX language. So DAX is stands for Data Analysis Expression Language. So it is the formula language of the Power BI. So DAX is the formula language that drives the Power BI while performing the analysis. Give me one second. Right. So DAX is known as data analysis expression language. So it is a formula language of the Power BI. So DAX is the formula language, as you know, right? It drives the Power BI while performing the analysis. Okay, using DAX mainly we are going to write three types of formulas. So to create. So the very first one is calculated columns, measures, and calculated tables. So calculated columns, right? So it is we discussed about custom column through PowerPoint. So in the same way, similarly, we can by using DAX also we can create a new column to the existing tables. So this the context is for calculated column is row context. What is mean by row context? Row context is a like will get executed on each and every row basis. The calculation or execution it will be row by row manner. Formula will get computed immediately and the result will get stored inside the memory. Whatever the column we are going to create, that will be executed immediately and it will return the and it will return immediate result. So that data it will be stored in the memory. Calculated column will be recomputed when we click on the refresh. So again when it will be re-execute once the report is refreshed. So that time it will be re-execute that column. So calculated column always contain a static or fixed values. So based on the column values, so it will containing have static or fixed values. So calculated columns are memory like a RAM looks like will be stored. So like let's talk about let's see the example how we can create the calculated column. So yesterday Okay. Let's take any example how to create the calculated column through Power BI DAX. Go to the dim customer. Okay. So we want to calculate first name, last name as a full name. Okay. First name, last name as a full name. So here the syntax is in the our document as in the syntax is, let's see here. So DAX formula syntax is the total. So this is total quantity. Okay. The syntax is new column. So we are going to calculate through DAX. We can calculate column, table, or measures. The very first one we are talking about calculated column. So the column equal to, the syntax is column name. What is the column name we are going to full name? The requirement is we want to create first name by using first name, last name, make it as full name. So that's the reason I am going to give the column name as full name. So full name equal to operator is required here. Okay. So then what is the column? So what is the column we are going to concatenate? Like first name. So first name, right? First name where it is coming from? So dim customer. So we are the calculated column. So whatever the column we are going to create for the table only, we can able to create it. So dim customer. So dim customer first name. So for concatenate and ampersand is it. There is one more operator. Okay. So we want to concatenate dim customer first name and dim last name. So last name, dim customer last name. Let's see here. So this column is created in the end, right? This full name. So full name column is created as a new column. Okay. The column is created already. Just dim customer choose different name. The full name already is just full name. Okay. That's right. So full name is the column is created. So we want to give in between. So we want to like the full name and the first name and last name is concatenated and given the results. Give me some in between like first name and last name. Give me some space in between. So for that, what we can do is we can write another ampersand symbol and double quote, and in double quotes we need to give what type of operator you want to space. You want to space in between, give space, and also you can support comma, any operator. Okay. So the first space I'm giving, then comma, and giving another space. So now it will be executed. See here. So you don't want to this one more space. So just comma and give one space. So looks like see now. So this is the way of doing the calculator. See here, the calculated column it executed immediately and return the output. Okay. So this will be again when it will be recalculated when the report is refreshed. How to refresh the report is so simple is so here there is a refresh button, or when you are going to refresh data. So when you refresh data, so for this table now this again this column will be evaluated. So recalculated. So means re-executed. Okay. So only refresh time it will be executed. So again, okay, this is the way of calculating how to create a calculated column. So by using DAX, we can create calculated columns, calculated measures, and calculated tables as well as. Today we can discuss about how to create calculated column and calculated measures. So now the calculated table we can we create on the table only. Within the table only we can create it. If you want to create another column for another table, So right click, choose on the table, new column. So if you want to create as a new column, dim date, then right click, new column. So here we can give static value or fixed values. So static value like whatever the value we want to give, some for example some default value. So I'm going to create test and equal to for the all the column. So I'm going to give some static value testing. So it will create it as a new column as test and it will give testing. So this is static value. So for that also we can create based on the requirement. And also based on some condition also we can write that calculated column. So going forward any in the real time project may be from that form. So the next topic is how to create calculated measures. So measures always require aggregations function. What is mean by aggregate functions? So generally average, mean, max, so count, distinct count. So, yeah. Yes, numeric values. So mainly measures, so we want to calculate numeric values. So that we can use it for measures. Measures won't add a new column to the existing column. So measures, like when you create a measures, so like you want to create a calculated column in the measure level does not. Okay. DAX measures are having filter context. So filter context means every time it depends on computes in the on the visualization. So measure produce the different values every time when they execute. So that means, yeah, I can explain. So measures gives multiple output based on the dimensions we have taken into visualization, which is known as filter context. Okay. So let's talk about what is measure, how to create measures. Okay. All right. So fact the others we can create. Okay. Measures we can create by using numeric values. So numeric values where we can use generally most of the time fact table only, right? So go right click now, create a new measure. So new measure or select this table and you can also right click, you can also click new measure. Both is fine. So now that measure is created here. Okay, this measure name. So what you can do is always measure name is required. What we are going to do is total sales amount, total underscore sales underscore amount. So equal operator is required now. Then followed by what is the table name? What is the table we are looking for? Total amount. We are the total amount column is there. Fact internet sales table. So first of all, you have to write the table name. So see, I'm searching for table name. It is not coming. So before that, what kind of aggregate function is required? So we want to add total sales. What aggregate function is required? Sum is required. Yes, excellent. So sum is required. Sum of now it will come. So measures always required aggregate functions. So otherwise it does not accept. So sum of fact internet cells. Sum is aggregate function, then open braces, choose the table name, then again open braces, choose the column name. What is the sales sum? So we are looking total sales amount. Total sales amount we are looking. So then sum, close it. So I created measure here. So total, what is that? Oh, okay. I did not save. Sorry, it's my bad. Okay. So when you create, I will recreate again. Select new measure. So here two options are there. So unfortunately, into mark cancel and commit. So commit means it will permanently save. It will create it. So measure name is again I am going to recreate. So total total sales, yeah, total sales amount, right? So now please, we are familiar equal to operator. So in order to achieve that, any first of all, we are while going to create any measure, so the first thing is we have to apply any aggregative functions. So here we are going to sum up the sales, means I'm going to apply the sum function. What is the table name? Fact internet sales, then open bracket sales amount. So the column name is required. So this is nothing but to table name. So this is the table name, see here, and this is the sales amount is a column name. See here, sales amount is a column name. Now this time is created total sales amount. See here, this is table name. So fact internet sales is nothing but a table name, and sales amount is a column name. So this is nothing but a column name. Table name followed by column. So aggregative function we are applying on that. So now I want to see the output here. So go to the table view. Table view. I created total sales amount, right? So total sales amount. So the measure, yes, yes, please. So anyone has questions? Pandu, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay, all right. Okay, so here, so for the calculated column, we can able to see the result, right? So when you do in the calculated column, dim customer, I have created as a full name. So we can see the result output for that column. But whereas in the measures we cannot able to see the output at the table level, means table view. So we cannot we cannot able to see the output for this measures. How can we see the output for the measures is, so we can drag and drop that into any one of the visual. So right click, for example, I want to show the total sales here. So here, so here, so just drag and drop that measure here. So I'm taking third visual and drag and drop that sales amount. So then only we can able to see the output for the measure. Okay. So this measure is not static. So for example, I'm going to apply geography as country name. So English country region name. So here I'm going to apply geographic country name. So you can choose as a slicer. Slicer is nothing but to this is as a visual, like one filter. Okay. So what? So now I have taken apply. Slicer, it will work as a like filters. So example, when you select as Australia, see this value. What is happening? There is no relationship on the modeling. Okay, all right. Got removed. Okay. Dim date. Dim. Okay. Dim geography and apply the fact internet sales. So see now, after creating the relationship, the data when select here, see the data got changed. That is called as filter context. Filter context measures. Hmm? Hmm. Yeah, this is slicer. Slicer, it will work as a filter. Okay. So when you based on the filter context, it will change the values, measure value. But but here coming to the row context, so it cannot change any value for this go to customer. It cannot change the value. Always we static or fixed. That's the reason. The values for that calculated column values are always static and fixed. So it cannot change the value. But whereas for the measures based on the filter context, it will change the values. Now understood? So based on this filter context, so measures will change. That is the point here. When you talk about filter context means every time it depends on depends or compute on the visualization. So measures produce the different values every time when they execute. So based on the filter context, based on the filter context, it will change. Okay. When you select as a country, it will change. So DAX measures formulas are not computing immediately and hence not storing into memory. So measures computing at the visualization level only. Okay, measures computing means measures will see the output at the visualization level, and they did not recompute every time. So once the page is refreshed, like once the page you are now you are page two, you are coming to the page one. That 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 measure will be recalculated automatically. Okay. So now this calculated column when that refresh the report, then only it will be execute. So here, when the visuals come, we are moving one page to another page or visual refresh. So it will execute. That's the difference. So it is very important interview question. Like what is the difference between calculated column and calculated? Okay, just explain it. These are the things. Okay. So let's talk about the calculated table. We can talk about later. So by using the calculated table, we can create from the existing table. So like aggregative for that we can use it. So we'll explain as part of later for that. So and the next topic like for the DAX. So DAX functions, like we have different kind of DAX function is there. So in the DAX set, so many formulas are actually. So in order to like in order to remember all the functions, it's very difficult for everyone. So syntax is very difficult. So what I did is, so for make it easy, instead of that, I have created the PBX file. In this PBX file, this is Power BI PBX file. So in this PBX file, all the DAX functions are there. So if you see here, I have taken sample data based on sales and salespersons. So products based on this, I have created all the measures. So DAX functions are divided into multiple categorized. So the very first one is aggregative. function. This aggregative functions mainly these mathematical functions, right? Give me 1 second. So aggregative functions. Okay. So aggregative functions mainly to calculate scalar values such as count, sum, average, minimum, maximum for all rows in a column or table as defined by the expressions. So these functions, aggregate functions, how many rows? Count of table. So it will give the number of or sum of what is total sales. Just now we created one measure, right? So sum of total sales. It will give a scalar value, means only one value. Scalar means one value. So date and time functions. So related, these functions help you create a calculation based on dates and time. So many of the DAX functions in DAX are similar to the Excel date and time functions. However, DAX functions use a date and data type and can take values from a column as an argument. So so this date and time functions mainly, what is the previous sales? What is the previous year? We are comparing the previous year and current year sales growth. So what is the growth percentage? So this time we can use date and time functions. Okay, in the DAX side. Coming to the filter functions. So filter functions. So the filter and value functions, there is two DAX functions mainly, most complex and powerful. And so similarly, same as Excel, the lookup functions work by using tables and relationship like a database. The filtering functions let you know manipulate data. So based on the filter calculation, dynamic calculations. So logical functions. So logical functions return the set operations generally. For example, if function. So if the condition is true, we want to return this. Else the condition is false, we want to return y. Okay, based on logical functions. So math and trig functions. So related mathematical part and parent and child. We want to build a relationship who is based on employee who is the manager for that. Like here, so we want to create a hierarchy. So parent and child functions we can use it. So another one is relationship. So in generally the relations the max we can create here in the table level. So go to here, modeling, manage relationship. So here how many I want to create two relations between the same table. So max it will allow only one. So I am going to again trying another. So fact internet sales. So again dim geography. Right? The same thing we have created earlier. So I want to create another keyword, another key. So for example, geographic key. Let us assume I am going to create. So here make this relationship active. Save it. Sorry. Earlier we created product. So I'm going to create a new relationship. So dim geography versus dim geographic fact internet sales. What is the sales territory? Sales. See, there is already a relation between these two columns. So we are trying to two relationship between the same table. So we are trying to two relationship within the same table. It cannot allow the max. It will be one active relationship between two tables. So only one it will allow. If you want to create dynamically, dynamically. There is a DAX function, use relationship. DAX function is there. By using that, we can establish a active relation through DAX. So always give the right geographic and says give the geographic key. That's the geographic key. Currency key, customer key, geographic key, where we can find out. Mhm. Okay, all right. So the above one is there. So the next one is we want to create how many relationships. The interview question is how many relationships we can create between two tables. One active relationship and more than one non-active relationship. Non-active relationship is nothing but to, so we can create, but we have to uncheck it, that button. So dot. Okay. So that is called as non-active relationship, that we can create a number of relationship, but active relation is only one. Okay. So let's move to here. So statical text functions, these are like once the terms. Now we can talk about aggregate function, the first one. So what are the aggregate functions? What is the average? Average A, average X. Okay. So now average. So we want to give the average. So the very first function, average. So average. So return the average for all the number of columns. So it's how to define average generally. Anyone? Please tell me. For example, yeah. Okay. For example, so generally we have four subjects, five subjects. So Telugu, like like uh, uh, mathematics, physics, science, sorry, physics, social, English, Hindi. So we have five subjects. Okay, mathematics, like the score is out of 100, so 96. Physics 92. So science, social 98. English 90. So Hindi. So the total like out of 500, like Telugu also if you take, so 10th class, SC science, mathematics. So Telugu. So let us assume. So how, so total scores for exams they are conducting 600 marks. Out of 600, what is the total sales here? See auto sum. If we do auto sum, 549K. So how to calculate average on each subject. So 96 divided by 100 or 549. So total. So now we want to create average for this one. So for all average. So average here it is coming. So total marks divided by, sorry, uh, what is the score for is like 549 divided by 600. Okay, this is into 100. So 91%. This is, so if you check here how to calculate this average, see check here. In this example, see here in the average in Excel also 91.5 it is written. Okay, 91. So how we are defining is the average. So total, like total mark 549 divided by number of subjects. How many subjects? Equal to same result it will return. So average. So leave it this topic. So 600, this leave it. So how to calculate average for this one? So how many rows are there? So how many rows? So if we check here the sum, total 549 is there. Number of rows, 6 rows. 549 divided by 6 will give the average. So 549 divided by 6 will give the average 91.5. This is the average. So understood? Now average function. So this if you write it, if you give that in the DAX, automatically calculate at the unit price. Okay, average sales unit price. So automatically returns the average of all the numbers in a column. So for all the numbers means, so what is the unit price and where it is taking the from the table. Table is sales table and the column is unit price. How to identify for the from the sales table? This is the sales table. Go to unit price. Okay. Copy this one. How to copy? Copy table or copy this row. Go to here and take it. Control V. Replace. So I'm going to convert format cell number. Okay. So I'm going to convert this one. Sorry. So average is how much it is came? 4.2. So format cell, so general or number, two decimal. Okay. Check here now. So the sum, how to calculate the sum? So how many rows are there in this example? So 270, 270 rows are there, right? So excluding one header. Okay, total 271. So excluding one. So what is the sum? 1154. So and also you want to sum it for this. How to sum it? The simple is come here. So select here, up here, auto sum. So automatically it will give you the result in the end. So what is the end? It will return. So equal to, so this one. How many rows are there? 270. So it will give average. So 4.2274. The same thing it is given here. Go to average 4.27. So what is the DAX function is here? So average, how to calculate it automatically? Simple is average. So average cells. So it's written the average value of the of all the numbers in the column. Based on that, it will give automatically average. So now understood. So if you want to DAX side, want to more information in the document side, when you click here, it will automatically navigate to the Microsoft website. Okay, this is Microsoft website. Like what is the purpose of this average, and they given here also definition. Return the average of all the numbers in a column. Okay, so we have examples. Looks like similarly. So next average A. So average A returns the average of all the values. Similarly, it does not handle text and non-numeric values. For example, not applicable in the within the column level. Okay, it count as 0. So blank also it is count as 0. Wherever it is true is there, it will count as true. The same for. So returns the average of all the values in a column, and it handles text and non-numeric values as well as. So wherever this kind of things in the text level. So if you go for average, it cannot calculate. It will throw error. Only average it will work for numeric or decimal values. So within that, if the for example n by a not applicable is there. So in that case, we have to use as average a function. Okay, the average a. So average a, these functions, average functions like a column and average numbers, but it also handle non-numeric data type according to the following rules. So values that evaluates true count as 1. So wherever it is true value is there, so it will count as 1. Value that evaluates false, wherever the false is there, it will count as 0. And value that contains non-numeric text count as non-numeric or empty text. So these are we can consider as 0. Okay. So like example, so it will count as the transaction ID amount result count as 1. So transaction count as 20 here. So here not applicable. So not applicable is there. So here count as 0. So empty space also there, count as 0. The values within the column if like 120. So when you apply this kind of values, average functions, it will fail. So that's the reason. So in order to based on the what kind of values are there within that column, amount column. So just check it. So based on that, we can apply. We want to choose average or average here. So if the column values are not applicable or true or empty space is there, better we'll go for average A function. Now understood? So now syntax is here. So average A. The same thing, whatever how we are doing average, just A. So similarly, average X. So this average X, it will calculate average row by row process. So for example, whenever you have sales, whenever you are taking unit price and sales quantity, unit price and sales quantity from the sales table. So for the testing purpose, what you can do is you can copy for the entire table, copy table. So in the Excel, okay. So now average X. So average X, what is the definition? Unit price into sales quantity. So here, so looks like sales price. So unit price into quantity. What is the quantity? This is the calculation in the Excel. So we have to select this cell into this one, unit price into quantity. So enter. So it will give the values 1.5. So like that, when you click, automatically it will calculate. Okay. So average X, whenever you are doing the calculation, two rows. So then we can use for average X. Okay. So now based on this sum, like 3995 divided by 270. So it will give 40. Okay. So now average X mainly it will calculate average row by row process. So whenever the two columns are there, based on that output, we want to give average. So we can give average X function. Okay. So majorly these three functions we can use in the average. So similarly count also. So count means count of number of rows. So for example, if you take how many rows are there here? So count function. Similarly, what is the count function? So it will give syntax is only difference, instead of average we can give count. So returns the count for all the number of numbers in the column. Okay, count. So what are the how many first names are there? How many first names are there in the count function? So how many first names are there here? So if you take again first name, it is there coming from so customer, I guess. Yes. Go to the customer, the first name we can get it from customer. So here customer first name. So how many? 12. 12 rows are there. So what they are written? Count function. The count function they are taking for salesperson. Okay. Salesperson, from salesperson table, they are taking first name. So go to the salesperson again. Salesperson. So count how many rows are there? First name 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The same thing it is written here. 6. So count A also, just earlier explained, right? So for not applicable, true, blank, similar, all the functions. Count X also similar. But anyway, so count blanks. You want to count blank values are there. So then in that yeah. So what you can do is I will say this DAX things. So accordingly you can create one more. So with your name. So for example, so measures we are going to create. So average. How to create average? Average one. You can create average underscore one column underscore one. So you will create as a new column or new measure so that you can easily understand that function. So this is our similarly all the min. What is the min value and max value? So for example, in this case, what is the min value here? What is the minimum value? In this total five values, six in the six subjects. What is the minimum score? What is the minimum score?
85.
85. Excellent. Min is 85. What is the max value?
90.
98. So 98. Sum function we can use. What is the sum function? What is the sum function we can use? Total score 549, right? So what is 549? Yeah, 549. So then average it will give 91.5. First understand what is the data, how this value is coming. So then how count what is will be written? What it will be written? Count of subject. So count of subject I am going to, how many subjects are there here? 6. So count it will be written. So average, min, max, count, sum. So these are the aggregative functions generally. So just understand based on the sample data, you have to identify how the value is coming. So simply for average, then always the sum of marks divided by number of subjects. Okay, that's the way simple calculation. So count means how many rows are there. So count of which column we are going to apply subject. How many rows are there? Average sum. Sum means total sum of all the subject marks. Okay, so accordingly you can take exercise for all the functions. So tomorrow you have to everyone complete. For the next assignment is complete every for all this exercise. Okay, so count blank, let's see, for just click it, everything is there here. Do not worry about if you do not understand. Distinct count and distinct count is different. So for example, if the same subject comes as twice, so yes, again comes as twice. So what is the distinct count here? So normal count it will give as 7. Distinct count it will give as 6. That's the difference. Distinct count always it will be unique values. So understood?